Okay, so hopefully this time we don't run into any issues. Like, goddamn. Let me make sure StreamYard. All right, let's see. Is it actually there? It is. Okay, so it should be live for everyone on the chat. So yeah, we got to create a new post.
It's all good. I'm about to create the post right now.
Yeah, like I don't know why. I do apologize to everybody watching because I really absolutely despise StreamYard or rather, I don't like the program. We back, yes, we back. Let's just let people filter in real quick.
You right back like we never left.
Yeah, there we go. And yeah, what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys so much for your patience. I do apologize about that. Don't worry, we'll get this thing straight.
We're gonna remove the other post so nobody get confused.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Click on it and be like, where they at? It's not working.
We're making sure that everybody is good. So we're
just trying to show y'all how the Cowboys front office do business. That's all.
See, this is how. Yeah, this is an illustration of the Cowboys front office trying to run the team.
They do things on the fly without planning it. So so we going.
Yeah, we're just doing this.
Jones.
It really does feel like that, my guy. Oh my god.
Oh, good. No, we're gonna make this work.
Now we can make this shit work. All right. Thank you guys for your patience. We got everybody dropping in. What's going on? Ishan, Craig, Joseph, Sandberg, and Action Jackson. So, where were we? Yes. Mr. Rome, by all means, let's introduce ourselves again, like we never left.
Hey, look, we right back. What's good with y'all, man? Mr. Rome, Cowboys fan talk. And I'm sure y'all was here a second ago, but like I said, my boy Space was one of the first people to support me on YouTube.
Yeah.
Literally told people to come check my channel out over a year and a half ago when I started. So whenever Space call, I'm on deck. So.
Hey, and it's awesome. Congratulations on 10,000 subscribers, one of the best in the business, and I can say that with my stamp of approval. And when I say that, I mean that wholeheartedly. I do not give stamp of approvals a whole lot. So
yeah, man, you're one of the rare people that actually got my actual phone number. So,
Yes.
A lot of people that I know, but they don't got my number. So, how
yes. But yeah, so with that being said, we got a lot of shit to talk about. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Now, again, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video. You guys, if you're following me, will be the first to know I am trying to hit 10K. I won't lie. I did put a little bet on Twitter.
Yeah, you a wild one for that.
I will eat 2 of the world's hottest chips live. BJ Nix of the Stargate Podcast will host it if I hit 10K by the end of the year. So I know I'm probably going to lose that bet.
We're going to get you to 10K. We can try to get you to 10K before the draft.
Oh, my fucking God. You guys are trying to kill me. I want to see you get before the draft. But, yeah, that's the goal. But, anyways, all that crap out of the way. Let's get into our Cowboys. So we know Dan Quinn's coming back. That is awesome. Dan Quinn's coming back. That was the biggest question mark. I thought he was going to Denver. Mm-hmm. I really did think that. And apparently, according to Brian Broaddus, I'm doing good. Sadiq Charles, how are you? Yeah, I thought he was going to Denver. And here we are. He's back, and now we run it back. I know you just dropped a video on it. I think 2, actually.
So yeah, I dropped one earlier when I was on the way to work, and I couldn't help it. And then they confirmed, I think, Jory Epstein. So I like to give credit when she put out the official reassurance. I'm sure everyone has pretty much put out their own spin on it, but Mike McCarthy is 100% back now.
That's good.
I'm pretty sure they did their due diligence trying to see what it would look like to get Sean in here, but it's probably just too much. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to wait a year.
We'll talk about that. What we feel would be best for the team and stuff like that.
Right now, what's best for the team is what's happening because of continuity. It's only one person I don't want back, but we'll get into that.
Look, keeping Dan Quinn was imperative. Now, it's hard for defenses to be consistently good. So if our defense isn't good, well, what I mean by good, if it isn't we don't have a guy that has 10+ interceptions or something like that. It's hard.
I got
Yeah, so
on that too. I'm gonna wait for you. I'm gonna let you lead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. But yeah, like I think that when you look at, hey, listen, we needed to hear what was going on, like what's gonna happen, because we need to know, do we need to go look at someone else? I think it's important for Micah Parsons and these young guys because it's gonna help them mature, it's gonna help them get better, and it's gonna help really solidify these players long term, even if Dan Quinn leaves the following year. And so I think that was the most important thing, that you now are in a situation, and we'll talk about this with the Sean Payton, Mike McCarthy, and such. You have everybody back, and you should be able to build. Now, whether it's a 12-5 season again or not, that's fine. I think everyone's expectation is this is a playoff team. We'll go through the opponents and stuff like that once we get into like talking about this upcoming season.
Yeah.
But I really like it. You know, we were 7th in points per game, 19th overall in terms of yards allowed, I think, in total. So, I mean, that ain't bad. And, you know, I think you've mentioned it. I mentioned it. If you can get a defense like that, you can go far. And unfortunately, and we got to talk about this too, this offense, man, this offense, like, oh my God, it's so cringeworthy to watch sometimes. If you watch that, did you watch that Kurt Warner tape by chance?
I ain't watched it fully through yet.
I'm telling you, man.
And I know he was dropping some gems, you know. But who needs to watch it is Kellen, but that's another story for another day.
But I think to kind of close this chapter, and then I'll let you. I'm not sure if you want to speak on this before we move over to the rumors.
Go ahead. Defense.
Go ahead.
I feel like our defense, this is what a lot of people aren't assessing. 2 years ago, the Mike Nolan defense, we had an amazing amount of turnover. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people like to just surface level this stuff and just say, well, you know, defenses don't usually come back and be better the next year because of the turnover and the change. Well, we had our turnover year. The thing that should scare most people is we were ahead of schedule. We're way ahead of schedule. What most people said is, if you go back and listen to like Jeff Kavanaugh and like certain people that I would say a lot more closer to personnel, closer to the team in general, just because of their stature in the media. A lot of people's stances in August and training camp was, you know, Dallas did well as far as turning this roster over defensively, but we probably won't really see the dividends until 2022. That was a lot of people saying that. Mm-hmm. Now, Dan Quinn's scheme and the players being capable of picking it up and running with it kind of made people forget, we dealing with a lot of youth. Now, not just, everyone likes to say, well, just Micah Parsons is young. No, our entire defense is mainly young now. Outside of, you got D-Law. Even if you wanted to throw, how old is LVE if we kept him?
I think he's 20. I could look it up right now.
Like, he's one of the elder, like you got Abe and
he's 25. He'll be 26 of February 8th.
That's my point. Anthony Brown.
I think he's 27.
Malik Hooker.
I think he's 25. Like they're young.
Look at it. I think Casey's will be one, and I don't think he's going to be back. But my point is, the foundation of our defense: Odigizua, Chauncey Golston, Quentin Bohanna. A lot of people that played this year. Calvin Watkins is one of the older people. I don't know if he'll be back because I think he's on a 1-year deal.
Right.
My point is, our foundation of our defense is extremely young. Mm-hmm. They still finding themselves. Like Odigizua hit the rookie wall for a little bit, but in the beginning of the year, it was like, whoa! Like, I was even shocked. Like, he's hitting the ground running.
When Tristan Hill came back, it was kind of like, I was like, okay. Like, and again,
he's super young still.
Right. And I think the big thing that I'm looking for is we just need to have good young players that can contribute.
Sure, we would, because I thought with Quinn leaving, is like, okay, they all got to kind of readapt and pick something else up. Quinn coming back lets everyone in that room, they already know the defense. Mm-hmm. I know we're going to pick up some new pieces, fine. But now, unlike last year, we was like, okay, we need 6 new pieces to hit. Remember that was our thing. We was like, we need our deep tackles to hit. We need our linebackers to hit. We need these safeties to hit. Like it was real improbable that our defense would all hit.
And what's crazy is that when you bring a guy like Dan Quinn in, and to see what he's going to do to some of your defensive players, like you could end up seeing some of these guys walk and get the bag. Dorrance Armstrong, Randy Gregory, if he ends up like you as a veteran could be like, hey.
I think they're going. I think Armstrong's gone.
I think he is too.
I think they're gonna bring Urban back.
I would like to bring him back.
I think he's gonna work with the team. I don't think he's gonna try and beat us in the head. It's anybody that's gonna try and beat us in the head is gonna be gone.
Right, exactly.
You know who else I think will come back? I think Casey will be gone.
I think Hooker will be back.
I think Hooker will be back. I think Hooker. He didn't quite reset his market yet.
Not really. He's kind of earned like a where's his deal? Like a KZ contract, like a $1 million.
Like you want to see Hooker and Kurtz just start the year as the starting safeties? Am I off on that?
Wait, is that what you're saying? Like what I would like to see? I would like to get someone else. I mean, for me, what I like about Kurtz is that he kind of plays that hybrid role we were hoping Keanu would be.
Yeah, I think he's gone too.
Who, J-Ron?
I think Keanu Neal's gone.
Oh, Keanu Neal was the biggest disappointment this season. And but the thing was you got that supplement in J-Ron Kurtz. He basically was what you wanted. He's exactly what you wanted. But I'm not. I think for me, I would love to get a young safety because I think if Malik Hooker doesn't get hurt, he's definitely a solid guy. He got you pretty good safety play, which is what we're looking for.
He was real solid.
And then Kurtz, I think, is better in a hybrid role.
No, but the thing I like about Curson is why I want him back. He can continue to be the green dot.
Exactly. That's what I like about him.
And I think him being the green dot, I think that not only he didn't just earn his role in the team, he earned I feel like the respect of he was a real vocal leader. Like the vocal leadership, the emotional leadership. He strikes me as a person that he would take the way we lost personal.
Right.
I like him back. I think this offseason we're going to see finally Boss Man is going to slide into his role. I don't know if we'll see both AB and J. Lou back. I don't know how that works. I don't know what their contracts look like.
I think Anthony Brown, if we cut him, I think we're saving $5 million.
I think some of these people that like AB, I think because their contracts aren't like astronomical, it's easier to move off of something like that.
Oh yeah, I'm taking a look at his deal right now. He's on a 3-year deal, obviously. Let me see what it says here. He's in the last year of his contract. He's going to be 29, and if you were to cut him, you would save $5 million. And I think that if I'm the Cowboys, I think that with what you saw, this is what I think might happen. I think that Kelvin Joseph and Anthony Brown go into competition next year, and you might see Anthony Brown get cut.
I don't think he makes it back. I think Kelvin Joseph slides into his spot. I think, and then natural progression happens. I think Deshaun Wright moves up into right behind one of the outside corners, and I think that you figure out what you're going to do. Like you might bring in another corner out of the draft that you don't play too early. But
I agree. I think that's my selling point is that I think I don't really see a problem. I think for me, with Jordan Lewis, I think that's the question mark because for me, I like his attitude, but the play has been up and down sometimes. Sometimes he plays very well. Other times he has mistakes, but that's here saying over there. I think now we should move on to the biggest fish in the pond this offseason. Sean Payton in Dallas. These rumors will not die. And I've talked about it a bit in other circles. I've talked about it a bit here. I don't recall. I don't think I was able to watch your video about the whole Sean Payton thing, touching on it. So I want to kind of hear your opinion on, so I don't think it's going to happen this year, based off of the indications. But what do you believe the Cowboys should do?
It's not a if. It's not a win. It's not an if. It's a win. Sean Payton's going to coach in Dallas. The thing that will prevent it is it's all on Mike. It's kind of like when we drafted Micah Parsons, and I'm sure Jalen Smith was like, hold up. Like when it happened.
Yeah.
When it happened, it was like, so then they didn't cut him. They didn't even bench him. It was like, Jalen, it's all on you now. Prove to us that it won't matter. We'll do something else with Micah. Because obviously Micah can pretty much play everything, probably corner. But
he can play corner.
Yeah. But they gave Jalen a shot before the contractual stuff and the cut. He just didn't cut it. And that's no slight to him. It's just, unfortunately, that's the business. My point is, Mike is getting what some people don't even get. He's getting a courtesy. See, everything's perception. Mike can tuck his head between his legs and cry about, why they got this dude hanging over my head because the media is going to try and do that. But if Mike ain't used to the Cowboys media by now, going into year 3, you know what I'm saying? He might as well just resign anyway, because he should realize this animal is different. They would find, if they didn't find this, they would find something else to hang over our heads for the year. Mike needs to just realize that, okay, Sean Payton is on deck, like on deck. If I coach bad, if I don't, like, don't try to go into the year, I'm going to just do my thing regular, because you might as well resign now. You have to do your best coaching job, and I don't feel sorry for you, first of all, because you're getting paid millions. So cry me a river.
Right.
But outside of that, it's one of those things where you're getting a shot. If you coach your butt off and we have success, then you keep your job. They're not going to fire you if we go to the NFC championship game and above. Now, I know you could be like, that's crazy to put that pressure on them. Pressure bust pipes. You getting paid millions. Figure it out. It ain't a guarantee that if Sean Payton came in here, we would automatically go further. But the problem is, it's all about belief. Jerry, just mainly Jerry. Jerry believes in Sean Payton more than you. And it's on you. I think that if there was no contractual stuff with the Saints, and it was just all things equal, and we could just sign him, he probably would have moved off him.
Right. And that's kind of how I feel. So here's the thing, and I said this on Twitter, and some people kind of took it the wrong way, and some others understood what I was getting at. It has almost like 1,000 likes, and I said, listen, if I'm Mike and I hear what's going on, I'm going up to Jerry and Steven. I'm saying, listen, I get it that there's this stuff going on. You need to either tell me I'm keeping my job. If you don't want me here, just let me go, because I want to go get another job. But if you want me to be here for this year or going forward, just let me know. I need to know what's going on. And that is the problem, is that when you have this looming over the team doesn't tend to do well.
They're still going to put it over us, though.
Nah, I mean,
even with that story coming out today saying he's being assured that he got his job, every time he has one move, like the media is childish. So, one clock management move next year. It could be the silliest thing that only they would hate on Mike McCarthy about, and they're gonna say, "Well, was Sean that?" But Mike has to be mentally strong enough to know it's coming. Don't be surprised when you know it's coming.
Well, right, and I think, and this is the thing that me and a couple of other friends that I've had in conversations, and shout out to my guy Simus, because me and him were talking personal conversations, because we were like, I think, like, whether how we feel about Mike McCarthy, whether we feel that he's kind of like a liar for getting the job, or he lied on the resume,
he hustled his way into the job. We know that.
Listen, man, he sold him. Look, I think that on a business perspective, I get it. We all have our feelings on Mike, especially after what he said. For me, as someone that, if anyone that has a day job, imagine that you are pressured to get your job done, but that the people like someone else that's outside that they want to hire. There's a pressure there, and it just, in the sense of the business, it just doesn't make sense to do that, because the stability of this team would be broken. Because we don't know how the players feel about Mike McCarthy. We don't know. And again, I'm not saying you are or anyone else. I'm more so saying, like, in general, we can't put words in what people think about Mike. From what I understand, he has a decent hold of the locker room, but again, I'm not in there, so I don't know. But for Sean, for me, obviously people will point to the resumes and say you're getting the same person, and then I do need to point out that with Sean, okay,
that's lazy, though.
I need people to understand which,
it can't be black and white,
right? But with Sean, here's the thing: people need to understand that Sean Payton has done things in the past that I think a lot of people need to kind of understand. Like he's done a couple things here and there with I don't want to get the personal stuff. He's done that. Not even just Bounty Gate. There are other things that this guy has done. So it's not like that he is morally a good, But with Mike, I feel like I'm getting someone that, and I'm not saying that's trying to indicate how I feel overall. I want results, but I'm just letting people know what you're getting if you get Sean Payton. You're getting a guy that has something attached to him. And whether that affects him in Dallas is one thing, but we do know that Jerry loves himself, Sean Payton. It's the closest thing that you're going to get to a Jerry thing.
Homegrown coach that he lets
exactly. Slip. He thinks that he got his next Jimmy Johnson, and he should let him go.
Well, Payton was his Garrett before Garrett.
Right, and I think
he's like when he lost Sean, he said, "All right, I'll roll with Jason." Because if Sean never left and we ended up keeping him, Jason would have never existed.
Right, and
the Cowboys coach.
Exactly, and here's the thing, right? When it comes to this whole, what do I like about Sean? So the thing with Mike is Mike has done good work in these past 2 seasons. He's shown, but I think he has to continue to build off of that. You go 6-10, you get the little asterisk there. Now you go 12-5, you lose in the wild card, which no one, again, and I said this on Twitter, I don't want to hear anybody saying the Cowboys underachieved because no one expected us to be there unless you were us.
I don't pay that no mind.
But that's besides the point.
Cowboys fans, you know how they are. They just, like I said, they want to be sad every month, and that's fine. But stop bothering me about it. That's the only thing I hate. I don't mind you being sad and hating the team, but why are you trying to recruit? Don't stop DMing me like, hey man, this team is trash. Keep it to yourself.
Listen, look, I will say though, I think what you get with Sean Payton is someone from the Bill Parcells era and the way he coaches. And for me, Bill Parcells is, in my lifetime, one of the best coaches, one of my favorite coaches. And it's because of the mentality he brought to the team. Now, I know Sean has a different way of going about things, but he commands the locker room differently than Mike. Now, Mike, I think, knows how to handle personalities in a locker room. But I think he's more of the manager of people more so than the imposing will. Because if he was that imposing will guy, he would have been like, listen, Kellen, your shit ain't working. Give me the playbook.
I think, to your point, I think that Mike wanted to be I coach the lieutenants, I'm the general. Like I coach my coaches and then let them do their jobs, which I appreciate. Like let your generals let them do them.
Let them do their job. Yeah. But and I appreciate that.
This year, that's the unique thing. He cannot approach this year like last year, or he might as well just resign now. He can't just let the game that just happened. If that was this year, he's taking over play calling in the middle of that game, maybe early in the first quarter. Like, you know what? Because you know what? It's added angst. It's like you get to do what you want at your job until they hire somebody in your same position that does what you do. And they're like, no, you're not fired, but they're gonna just work next to you. So
and that's
he's gonna be, he got that added like little
right
all year. Like everything he do, he can't get like, he can put like this, he can have a loss last year. We lost to the Broncos, and he was mad. We were all mad. We were let down, and he went back to the drawing board, and we came back out the next week, played better.
We beat the crap out of the Falcons. Yeah,
this type of letdown is just going to be so different. Like we lose a game, and he's going to be in his house stressed, and I'm like, good, because sometimes life in Dallas I think it can take the edge off of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that edge that you could come in with can leave if you're not used to it.
Right.
If you're not like self-driven. Because I know it's a lap of luxury. I know they treat everybody great. His office probably amazing at the Star. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where all of that comfortability left 5 days, whenever that story dropped, that this could be a possibility. And I'm sure Mike McCarthy probably got all the little news clips in his phone. He knows. He's like, oh, I'm on the clock. But it's like this. If you can't handle it, then resign. But if you're going to stick around, know that this is going to be your hardest year of coaching because you can't just be like, well, Kellen handles Dak. You know what I'm saying? You might as well because if Sean Payton was here, this is my biggest thing with Sean Payton. I can sum it up as he wouldn't. First of all, he wouldn't let Kellen Moore run his offense. That's first. He just wouldn't. He wouldn't be here.
Right.
But even if Kellen Moore was here, he would be relegated to a closet. Sean Payton is going to be hands-on with his quarterback in between plays or when, like, if you know how Dak will come out and we'll go 3 and out, and you'll be like, and then Dak will go sit down and look up at the joint, get the surface, and then Kellen will come sit next to him. You would see Sean in Dak's face, and I'm not talking about yelling. I'm talking about he would let's talk this through.
Oh, he is the most direct. Listen, he is so damn direct. He won't be afraid to but he's
hands-on though.
Right, like he's not afraid to be like, yo, what the hell are you doing? Hey, this shit that you're doing, stop doing that. Hey, remember when you did this? Start doing that.
And Dak needs some of that though.
And we'll talk about that. We start talking about Dak because I feel that when he was he's a guy that's like, listen, just please, I need someone to know what I'm doing wrong, and I could see that because you could see the jump when we got a guy like John Kidna in here, well, that was outside the organization and pushed him,
coach him hard.
You saw the results. You saw 2019. Okay, he went from being, we don't know what we got to, okay, you got yourself at least a top 15 type of guy. Then in 2020, we saw how, he could carry the team. Now, I just think that for me, it comes down to how this year goes. I have said, and I've gone on the record, Mike has to do something. We cannot have another year unless everybody gets hurt or we are missing the playoffs.
He won't make it through the full year. If he comes out the gate stumbling, he won't make it. See, today was
Mosher in the building. What's going on? What's going on, Mike?
Dan Quinn is a parachute. I'm telling you right now, if we start free falling, they will kick Mike. He won't make it through the season. And I'm not saying Sean Payton will come in mid-year. I'm saying they will just go ahead. Like I hate to speak things into existence, but let's just say we came out, started the season 4-4. It's a wrap. It's that type of pressure on this season. It's not that I'm saying I'm not a Super Bowl bust person. Like as far as I don't come out in August saying we're going to the Super Bowl. I like to go.
Right.
I'm saying let's see what we can do. I just feel like I know we're a playoff team. Jerry knows we're a playoff team, and we're not just a scrape into the playoff team. Like it doesn't have to be 12-5. We can go 11-6 next year and have a better team because we're more battle tested.
Like look at the freaking the Bills. The Bills record wise, we're not 13-4, or they won 13 games. They won 11, and they looked like a much better unit than last year. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that we care about is, can we see this team progressively getting better?
Defense is going to progress. I have no doubt.
Yeah. It's that offense that bugs me because with Kellen Moore, and this is why for Mike, I felt like he got a bit of a bad rap when he came in because you got to have to come in and you're like, well, what if I wanted this guy? And you're telling me I got to use your guy? You basically have a Garrett-esque type of guy that irks me the most because he's willing to call all these crazy-ass plays that would look awesome against the other teams, but he just goes into a shell like he's scared. And then,
it's a two-part process. I really don't like what Kellen doesn't know how to call plays and build on something. He don't know how to call a play and then come back to a similar play later and branch into another play. He just calls plays kind of like a Madden player. Like I'm just nothing. There's no rhyme to a reason. It's just I'm just out there calling plays. But the thing that disappoints me, and like I'm one of the biggest Dak supporters. I'm just surprised that at this stage of his career, he doesn't just say, "Yo, that's stupid. I'm going to go away from that." Like the fact that we have grown adult veteran players on our offense. That's the veteran side of the ball. The defense is young and just flying. The offense should have. There's moments in a couple of those games where it's just like some of this stuff you got to be like, no, Kellen, that's stupid. Like stop lining Connor McGovern up out there to run a wide receiver screen when everyone knows it's coming. Like because why else? He's not gonna. And then you try to say, okay, this is what I'll do. Y'all don't think I'll throw it to McGovern? I'll send him out on a pattern. No, stop putting a tackle on the field to run skill player. Stop. Like it's cool when you put him in there as an extra blocker, but some of the stuff is just like you like Buda Baker could have picked six that thing in the Arizona game.
Listen, the biggest thing that I have an issue with, right, is that when you go on YouTube, the Kurt Warner the 40 minutes.
That when you get off here too, because you told me.
Right. No, because for me, people think it's an indictment on the quarterback. Some people think it's an indictment. You can look at both. I looked at both. I'm like, yeah, there are things you can work. But for me, and this is why you can look at the numbers and you can see why Dak has one of the craziest tight window throw stats. It's because the way we are scheming our wide receivers to get open is so goddamn hard. It's like Dak playing on hard difficulty doing this. And is that I get it.
Spacing.
Right.
We have routes that take away from other routes. We don't do rub routes correct. Like it's a lot of stuff that's like your scheme is flawed, but you.
And that's the thing is that this is why I'm like when I was watching the playoffs, right, and I'm seeing guys get wide open and all this other stuff. I'm thinking to myself, well, it ain't Aaron Rodgers that's doing that. It's not that he's selling the play fake. It's because when you go watch the replay, it's because you're watching the routes that they're running. You're seeing how they're getting the guys open, right? Now, again, and we're going to kind of transition into this Dak conversation and how we feel on him because, look, I think with 6 years in, we kind of now know where he's at currently. I believe that he is a top 6 to 12 quarterback in the league. That is fair. And I think that, yes, and this comes down to your expectations of him. Do I think he's the worst goddamn quarterback in the league? Like some people think he's trash. No, trash quarterback. Listen, trash in my mind is like Sam Darnold or lower or some shit like that. Then you're kind of like, okay, so is Dak average? Well, then I'm seeing 50 definitions of what an average quarterback is. For me, this is where I would.
You know why people are stupid? They'll call Dak trash, right? This makes no sense to me. It's kind of like you're telling on yourself. You'll say Dak is trash, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. And then you'll say, y'all always beating up on bad teams.
Or then they'll talk about Kellen. And
my thing is this.
Yeah.
If Dak is trash and he only dominates bad teams, at bare minimum, even if you're a Dak hater, you'd have to acknowledge, well, if it was trash, we should be struggling with trash. We should look like when the Giants play Washington. It should be a struggle every time. It's not a struggle. They'll call they'll call a game when Dak scores 27. Like the audacity to look at someone and say, you had a bad game. You're in a slump. You're averaging 27 points over the last 4 games. You know that's middle of the pack in the league.
Right.
There's 16 teams that average below 27. And then there's about I looked at it the other day too. There's 6 or 7 teams that average around 27, like in that range. And then there's the upper echelon offenses in the league, where we fall at. So my thing is Dak he's not Patrick Mahomes or, pick your litter. It's about 5 quarterbacks. Fine. You can, and if you want to say I'm rolling with the new cats, if you want to go Burrow, Herbert, you can say, well, Dak ain't even 9th or 10th. I ain't even here for that argument this year. I'm tired of arguing with people. If Dak was so bad, how is he still here? Because he would be gone. They get rid of him.
He would listen. Dak does not have that same favorability that Romo had, and that is, another conversation for another day.
They wanted to get rid. Like I don't think they hated Dak, but trust me, they mulled this over. He is very resilient.
Yes, listen, man. He wanted his money. The agent was playing hardball. Stephen Jones got pissed, and I'm telling you, if they have the chance to let him go, and they know that it's not going to be an issue, they will let him go.
Let him walk. Everybody that hates Dak, let Dak won't be a free agent for 5 minutes. As much as people hate Dak and say they don't, if Dak was a free agent, tomorrow they'd be like, breaking news: Dak is a Steeler, Dak is a Bronco. Dak, I know they might get Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of the team.
He would be on a team relatively soon. A team would not. From what I understood, I had some people
no hesitation.
Like the Colts were waiting to see what happened with the Dak thing because they were ready.
He'd be a Colt. Yeah, there's plenty of teams that's like, and I'm not talking about the bad ones. I'm talking about the ones that are like, we just had the right quarterback, and you know what? He probably thrived better because he wouldn't have to deal with us.
but kind of getting back to my point here is that if I'm just looking for the objectivity of, okay, what is he? For me, he is a Tony Romo that has the hesitancy. Tony Romo was I'm just going to throw this shit and just hope to God it works. Yeah, and for me, right, that's what I view him as. I think that, look, for him to come back from the injury and you pay him the money, the question was, okay, is he going to look the same? He throws 37 touchdowns. He looks very good. Yes, he looks very good. Yes, he did struggle at moments. I completely understand that.
But think about it, though. How do you like his ankle was pointed this way?
But right, and that's where I'm like, okay, for him to come back, break the record for most touchdown passes in the season with one less game at that, and you want to say that that's terrible? Okay, well, he's like Kirk Cousins. All right, if we want to go down that route, then it's like,
can't do that though. Like for him,
that's not fair because Kirk, right? Like, and again,
I'm not even talking about the ankle. What about like this? It's like this. If Dak wasn't a Cowboy and he didn't have to deal with the scrutiny of the fan base and the extraordinary, crazy media, like Dak should be praised right now. This is the crazy thing. This is what bugs me out because I know they wanted him to beat every game 50-0, and
right.
I know they want him to be what Patrick Mahomes is. That's fine. At the end of the day, shoulder strain, broken ankle, calf injury, and his brother killed himself last year. There's a lot going on.
And he lost his grandmother, and we all know about his mother passing.
And he went out there and threw 37 touchdowns, and it wasn't necessarily a regular slump. He was hurt. He would not come. He did the Ezekiel Elliott. He obviously was hurt. When he first strained his calf, everyone said that's a 4 to 6 week injury. Dak took off 2 weeks.
And he's like, fuck this shit. I'm
coming. and he played pretty decently. That's what it looks like when you're playing not 100%. But my thing that makes me mad is no one cares. And that's
I want to, if you don't mind, I want to touch on that because, look, I know that he's getting paid the big bucks. I understand that we have expectations, understandably so. I don't think people are going to look at this and people aren't going to care what I had to say here because people don't understand the human element of this. And this goes for any player, okay? You look at, guys like Calvin Ridley, who just recently had to take a break from football because of mental illness. Or, excuse me, mental health. I apologize. And what I don't like, and this is why I get so fucking heated, is because people don't understand the scrutiny of the Cowboys quarterback position. Tony Romo went through the same stuff. Dak Prescott's going through the same stuff. But when you look at what Dak Prescott's had to go through, losing his mom, losing his brother to suicide, losing his grandmother, having that devastating calf injury, going through all of that, and to do that
thing in August was a saga. That was the 4
right. But to go through all of that, regardless of the injury, but to go through all of that and still do that, I commend that.
Dak Prescott is a warrior.
Thank you, Joseph. And Lane Johnson, too. And that's why I like Dak as my quarterback. He plays for the Cowboys. I am for the star over everything else, but I like my players as well. Okay, I'm not saying I pick and choose which players. When you come here, I'm a fan of you unless you are a legit terrible person. But I think that is why I get more irritated is because people don't recognize that human element in sports.
That's the society we live in. I understand that. Yeah. I'm just saying this is why when people ask me like why, like I'm like look take away 5 touchdowns. I like when people like they say that the Philly game don't count, the last one. Take it away. Right. Dak came out there, he threw 32 touchdowns, right? And for I don't know, over 4,000 yards.
4,010 interceptions. Like he basically had his best season statistically still.
And if you take away the Philly game, you'll say he had what? Because you want to take away that win. You say he had 10 wins.
So he went 10-5.
You know, fine, right? After all that stuff you just named, this should be not just comeback player of the year. It should be like, yo, he was a warrior to go through all of that. Like, let's see him next year with less stuff that like he spent last year. For him to even do that, he spent at this time last year, you know what he was doing? He was still rehabbing. He was not practicing. In July, I think he was doing light throwing. He was not.
I don't think he really got back into it until Tampa.
That's my point. And like people should be giving him like this is the ideal world. I know this ain't reality, but people should just be like, yo, I gotta give Dak Prescott props. 12-win team because he's still our leader. 11 wins, you know what I'm saying? Off of all that stuff he went through, like that's pretty dope. But instead, people choose to throw it all in the trash. None of that happened.
And like, that's the part.
The Super Bowl, and I'm just like, I can't get with that because it's like I'm going to blatantly ignore. It's like saying, yo, you got hit by a car, walk it off. Yo, I just got hit by a car. I know, walk it off. Like
right, and that's where like and kind of to the main question is like, okay, so how can he build off of this year? Look, we know now where Dak is. We know what he is. Now the question is, of course, okay, can he get it done in the big moments? And you know, we saw him. Right. And we have seen it. Sure. You know, if you want to be like, well, we lost to the Cardinals. Okay, cool. Okay, but there is a lot more to this, and that's not me just throwing him back there and be like, yo, I'm defending him no matter what, because you have to. And this is where I'm going to mention this. If you say Kellen Moore is the problem, okay, fine. If you say then go on to say that Dak Prescott is the problem, then what the hell? Then what's the problem? Is it that Kellen Moore is making Dak look good, or is it Dak making like that is my problem, man. We need from it.
It's this also the Cowboys. It's talent. Look, we got amazing talent on our team, right? And when we play most teams, their talent's here, and we're right here.
Right.
Dominate them easily. Our problem is this, and this is it's the truth. When talent meets talent, right? Everyone on our team doesn't show up.
Right.
And this isn't just a Dak Prescott thing.
It's a cultural
block. He can't tackle. He can't make catches. I've seen like when talent meets talent, I've seen in some of the biggest moments this year. If everyone wants to be honest with themselves, we're gonna have a big boy conversation. Even in games where you say we've struggled, I've seen in the Chiefs game, in the Cardinals game, in the 49ers playoff loss, I've seen big drops. I'm not saying that I haven't seen Dak miss a throw. Newsflash, people, if you want to be honest with yourself, in every single game, I've seen the best miss throws. I'm tired of people hanging on one throw and be like, you got to make that. I see people miss throws every week. You watch the games this week, you're going to watch Burrow miss a throw. Like, just miss a person. Like, it was a little off. You know what they do?
Real quick. Got Mr. Will Robinson. Sorry, he just got paid. We can't afford better players because he got paid. He couldn't score one touchdown. We got to stop making excuses for him. He just got paid. Okay, so first off,
he scored 2 touchdowns.
He scored 2 touchdowns.
You talking about Aaron Rodgers? He confused.
So listen. First off, he scored 2 touchdowns. That's number one. We can't afford better players because he got paid. No, the problem is that if you actually know how this team operates and you're paying attention, Will, you would know that this front office doesn't like to spend money. We like to be cheap. And that is not an excuse for Dak Prescott. That is the fact of the matter. You can go back and you can look at all the other free agency classes. I understand that as fans, we want to see results. I completely get that.
As Will Robinson, the quarterback he's seen overcome 14 penalties. What's the last penalty that Dak Prescott got?
And look,
when the last holding call that he got? And when's the last offsides that he got? When's the last defensive holding that he got? 14 penalties. You want him to overcome 14 penalties, and he ain't committed one.
And look, here's the thing: when we say, and we've said it, I'm not sure if you just got in here. Does Dak need to get pushed more? Yeah. There are moments where he makes error throws. There are moments where he makes mistakes. There are moments where we feel like, yes, you should tuck it and run. I've said this multiple times.
When the cat finally got good, you saw him run.
And that's where this is where I'm going to address this once and once only for everybody in the comment section. Okay? He got his money. Cool. Let him do his thing. And if the Cowboys don't want him, fine. But until he goes, he's the quarterback. I'm supporting him. I'm not going to shit on him. I'm not, unless he's like, I'm with the star. Listen, this star's over everybody else. I'm not going to throw people under the bus unless you're.
What Jay Tuck said to me earlier in the week. It's just easy, Space. If Dak Prescott was Josh Allen and we watched the same game, the same exact game, and we lost, the fan base would say that wasn't good enough. No one would say, like when Josh Allen lost that game, everybody congratulated him, patted him on the back, and said, "Yo, man, it just is what it is." If that
deservedly so.
Yeah, no, because the way the game went. But you know and I know, if we lost that game, I don't care what happened. I don't care if Dak threw 8-9 touchdowns, and if he lost, people would say it's not good enough because Cowboys fans have unrealistic expectations. I'm not saying that Dak Prescott. If you think that Dak Prescott is Patrick Mahomes or better than him, that's kind of a you problem. You got to
right. And I want to set that again. I have said on this channel, he was trending up. By the way, shout out to the Philly podcast, by the way, for the $1.99 super chat. Shout out to you, my guy. I know you say some stuff on Twitter.
Me and Mike go back and forth on the regular.
That's funny. But thank you so much for that. But look. Fetty Hop, you guys got to be honest, brother. Dak Prescott's overrated. Listen, if I am overrating him,
ask him. Don't even answer the question. Ask him to write what he considers overrated. What does he think Dak Prescott is?
Right.
Like, please explain, because it's this simple. If you really think that Dak Prescott is not worth what go back, do your homework. Go back, look at all the starting quarterbacks in the league. Really step back and think about how many teams are struggling. See, people think that Patrick Mahomes and I'll even use them right now. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, that they grow on trees. They think that when somebody's on a heater, that's a definite. See, Dak Prescott is dealing with 5 years of playing. I don't even count 2020 because he broke his ankle in half. It was only like 4 or 5 games. You know what I'm saying? But I need to see consistency. Like, as much as I love Joe Burrow and I love Justin Herbert, things change in the NFL quick. I've seen people come and go and get on heaters and just they're not here anymore. You know what I'm saying? They get paid and they're not here anymore. I need to see some legitimate consistency. Period. Somebody can catch an injury. Things can change quickly. Your fortune can change quickly. The whole fact that Dak when he first took his first snap in 2016, the first snap they was like, "Yo, this will last a week or two. As soon as Tony come back, it's over." He's been fighting an uphill battle for 6 years. He's still around. He's still starting. And people are, you think because you on YouTube in the comments, you think because you on Twitter in the comments, you think because whatever platform you are, you're in the comments saying Dak is trash, you think you ought to be the one that's got to get him out of here? He's resilient, man. People just need to just realize he's not going nowhere. He's just not.
Look, and listen, to kind of close this thing out, because we want to kind of wrap the in the hour, but we will. No, you're good. But I want to talk about draft, free agency, and things that we keep looking for. But to finish this thing, okay. Look, football is a team sport. Sometimes Dak doesn't do his part, and that's fair to say. You know, And again, I will say it once again because I don't want to seem like I am being mute and no one understands what I'm saying. Dak Prescott, okay, is between the 6th to 12th best quarterback in the league, similar to that of Tony Romo. If you felt that Tony Romo was good or anything like that, then you should be satisfied with Dak Prescott. I defended Romo until he was gone, and I'll defend Dak Prescott until he's gone. But I am not afraid to criticism. I've called Tony.
You need to be criticized. That's the thing. There's a difference between criticism and saying you need to get better. You got things to work on. He's not perfect. But that's not our argument, Space. Right. Our argument when people just like they disregard everything. Like to look at him and say, like I said, you can count to 37 if you want to say that the last game don't count and say it's 32 touchdowns. To the audacity, like our fan base and the audacity to say 32 touchdowns is a trash season. They don't count.
And this is the opinion. This is pretty much the opinion that I have. Dak is a quarterback.
Everybody needs a team playing well around them.
Exactly. And this is exactly
right now because his special teams didn't show up.
And this is exactly what I personally believe. I think that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a team sport.
Think Tom Brady ain't still a beast?
And
Tom Brady wouldn't be. He would be if he had his team played harder or played better. He would if his offensive line. That was one of the main things why they lost that game. Mm-hmm. If his offensive line wasn't hurt up and could show up, Tom Brady still be playing. But it's great. Exactly. Tom can make every throw right now. There ain't nothing wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? No. Because his team didn't show up fully, they lost.
Right. And so for me,
and I would love for somebody to say Tom Brady's overrated.
But anyways, we'll get off this because we'll finish off with the biggest. Yeah. And so, no, we're not going to get done in an hour. We can probably get done in an hour. 20.
We could talk Dak Prescott hate for hours.
Right. And look, again, that's where we'll end there. So before we continue, thank you for the 40 people watching. If you could do me a favor, subscribe,
button, man.
And hit the notification bell. And there is a reason all your favorite YouTubers do it. It's because YouTube sometimes is a pain in the ass when it comes to this. They're not begging for shit. It's because I've had people tell me that they have issues. So, with that, if you can do that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you, everybody, for
hit that like button. Let everybody know that we're dropping this knowledge.
So, we got to talk about free agency. So, I have the list up here. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put it up on the screen, but you have 4 wide receivers set to hit free agency. You have 4 linebackers set to hit free agency. You have 3 safeties set to hit free agency, 3 offensive linemen, and a couple of other positions. Yeah. Now, like Joe Rod from Cowboys blog, we always say, look at the contracts because we have to kind of see what are the Cowboys going to do. And the Cowboys tend to go after the position. They have those discrepancies there. So I'm looking at receiver and linebacker. If you don't do anything, you're kind of like, okay, you got Micah and Jabril coming back. And I believe Francis Bernard or Luke Gifford, one of the two, is a restricted free agent. So they'll probably be back unless someone wants to get a second-round tender on that. Wide receiver, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Simeon Fehoko, and Tito Vasher. So my question to you, Rome, because I've already kind of outlined this on Twitter. I said that your biggest needs, based off of what we saw and what you're going to need with how many people are leaving.
Yeah.
Offensive line, no in particular order, by the way. Offensive line, wide receiver, linebacker, safety. You're going to need a kicker, but you can get that in free agency. You don't need you don't need the draft kicker. You just need to draft the right kicker if you're going to do that. Kicker. And then your secondary needs are tight end. I believe I said edge rusher and defensive tackle. Yes. So what do you believe is the biggest thing we need to address? And maybe a couple other things you think the Cowboys need to address.
In free agency or just the draft too?
Both. You can just do both. That's just my needs right now.
First and foremost, the thing that we're going to invest in, and I don't know if we're going to get Linderbaum. I know what everybody wants. I want him too. But, you know, I trust Will McClay. I trust when Will McClay has a point of view, he will figure it out. Whether it's free agency or not, he has a great eye for talent. Because I ain't even know about Curse. so I think that the first thing that they're going to address is the offensive line.
Right.
I think it's going to be some shuffling. I feel like not really a shock to nobody, but I do feel like they're going to put Collins back at guard. I feel like they're going because I feel like this. They're going to want to get Steele on the field.
You have to.
And they're not going to put Steele at guard. So, and look, everybody needs to just let it go. Ty Smith going to be back. Just let it go. Just breathe. He's not leaving. I look, when he's right, I don't know if they're gonna go and let him get that bone spur thing worked out. Whatever they're gonna do, he's gonna be back. Now, I ain't saying they're not gonna probably get a tackle if they can, but I don't think they're not cutting him. Ty Smith will be back. But my point is they'll probably do Ty Smith, Lyle Collins. The center is the biggest thing. I don't think Matt Farniok, I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I don't think he'll be our starter.
Well, Matt Farniok or Farniak, I keep forgetting.
I think he'll have a chance to compete. I think Biadasz he better have a good camp because he was one of our struggling players. But I think that we will attack center early in the draft. And Linderbaum, there's some other good centers too. He's not the only center in the country. So we'll get like you know what I'm saying. So we'll attack center. And I think that we'll shuffle the line to where we'll get Steele on the field permanently. I think we'll draft if we can get Green, that guy from Ole Miss.
Okay, was it K-Ron Green? I think his name.
Yeah, I think that'll change my whole argument because I do think they'll take the tackle if he gets to us.
I think it's Kenyon Green. Yeah,
if he gets to us, I think they'll take the tackle.
So there are plenty of options. I just dropped my first mock draft, and I went back to back with the Bulldogs. I went with Nakobe Dean, linebacker, and Jalmir.
Who's going to take Dean? The Eagles.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like,
because they're not going to watch. They got 3 picks. They taking Dean.
Kenyon Green. Thank you, D-Live. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm terrible with the name. There's so many names I'm looking at. But you have options in this draft, and I think that you're going to get someone, and that's what you kind of have to look at. So I'm looking at the depth chart. We'll start with the offensive line here because we're going to kind of tie into this, and then we'll maybe take a question or two.
I'll say this while you're pulling that up.
Yeah.
The reason why you invest in the line is not just for the line. It's because of the investment you got in Ezekiel Elliott because he's not going nowhere.
And your quarterback if you're going to keep him that long. Yeah. That's why you draft. That's why the Bucs got Tristan Wirfs. That's why you looked at guys getting like Mike McGlinchey and all these other guys. So this is what I'm looking at. So assuming that the Cowboys do not sign any free agents, you got Ty Smith at left tackle, no one behind him, assuming you move someone around.
They'll get somebody. They'll get a swing.
Which they will. You got Josh Ball and company. So you got Connor McGovern, Tyler Biadasz, Matt Farniok, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins, Terrence Steele, and Josh Ball. So what I would say is at face value, your line, assuming that they don't want to move anybody around, but I think you're going to have to, I would go with, you're going to have to go Ty Smith, Lyle. I would have an open competition at center unless you get someone in the draft. Joe Rod in the building. What's going on? So you got a competition there. Zach Martin at right guard, who's been, oh my God, dude, get ready the gold jacket because as soon as he retires, he's going straight into Kansas.
He's gonna be pissed next year too because I don't think he had a good year neither.
What I'm worried about Zach is him getting up there in age. I'm not saying that he's going to regress. It's just more so like how we saw with Tyler with the wear and tear. I'm worried that could possibly
happen. He made it the whole year, but like I said, sometimes it takes for – I don't hear him speak much. He don't really get close. He came out and said we got punched in the mouth. Like when we.
Oh yeah.
So it's certain people when they speak, it's like hearing a quote from Ty Smith. You'll be like, what?
So I see a lot of people mentioning. I'm going to just say Farniak. I see a lot of people
in the Eagles game. But
so I'll say this: in college, the reason why I liked him was because he was able to get not only that power, but he was able to get to that second level. That was what I liked about him, and I felt like, I don't know, I don't really think of anybody that he reminds me of, but what I think the thing is with Tyler, what we gotta have to recognize is that Tyler, I think, is a solid starter. He isn't complete garbage, but I think he's a solid starter that has those moments where it's just inconsistent. And the center is the most important position on your offensive line. Sure,
they always go at Tyler to his left. They know that's the weak point.
Right. And that's the thing is that when you look at this offensive line, yes, you need to have that blindside guy, but if your center can't communicate and know, like,
it did not work well. Because think about this: when you watch those plays where we folded, how many times do you see the guy come?
What's going on, Mike?
What's going on, Mike? How many times do you see the guy go to Tyler's right where Zach is?
Right.
They don't even mess with that side because they know that Zach's going to pick it up. More often than not, they do stunts right to Connor Williams and Tyler Biadish's side, and it's a complete wrap. They can't pick up stunts together. They don't know how to pass off to each other. And I ain't even an offensive line guy, and I'd be like, that just don't look right.
Right. Right. And that's where I'm like, what in the hell? Like, I'm like watching, and I'm like, what are we doing? And the thing that would piss me off more than nothing is when the offensive line committed so many penalties, you were putting yourself in a rut, not only for your quarterback, but whenever we had a big play, a big run, something happened, and we had, now whether it was their fault or being ticky-tacky, it's still a problem. And that's where
Oh no, I was gonna throw something. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna throw a wrench into your plan.
What I think is the biggest thing, Joe Philbin needs to go.
Well, I don't like Joe Philbin.
I don't like him either. I think what got him a bit of props to me was with finding Terrence Steele. But then after that, I was like, what the hell? Like, I thought you...
I wouldn't even... I don't think Philbin will be gone because of this. Sometimes you go to points in the season where you see everything was clicking, and you wonder what made it fall apart. And a lot of our stuff, this was the front office meddling. When they started to make us start shuffling people around, it killed the line. It killed the continuity. And we couldn't get it back. If the line just stayed the same, because Philbin was dealing, if you want to say, well, what was we doing early in the year? Everything was good until we started to shuffle. So
exactly,
he might be able to stick to if he says, listen, if y'all just leave my line alone, I can work this. It wasn't just injuries. It was like at one point, I think we were rotating linemen mid-game. It was like,
oh my God. No, right. And I'm like, so here's how I kind of look at when you attack this offensive line. You can quickly rebuild this thing. You can retool it. And I'm not saying it's going to be like an instant go back to the greatest offensive. So that's why I don't like Pro Football Focus. They I see Pro Football Focus be like, they got the best offensive line. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, I'm like, no. And this is kind of, so names to keep an eye out on. And I'm kind of like looking at the tackles because for me, I love Tyron. I think he could stay another year, but they're married to him. He's not going nowhere. Well, I get that, but I think that what's important here is that you might end up having a situation where whoever's on the board, you kind of have to go with and be like, okay, like if you have a Kenyon Green there, you're gonna take
do a Green. They take Green, you're gonna get mad. It's gonna be like what we said we would do with Slater. They would take Kenyon Green and put him at guard for a year.
Oh, I don't know, and I don't have a problem with that. I said I want to make this clear. I went out and said that is the plan. That is exactly what you do. I firmly believe.
Take them. Yeah.
Right. So, like, what I think is extremely important is that you got guys like Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. I had to get the names up because, like, there's so many names out there.
While you pulling up the names, let me ask you a question. Say we take Green. Say we get blessed. We take Green. We go. Ty Smith, Green at left guard, right? We figure out the center position. Like we end up taking a center maybe second or third round. Maybe we go double dip on the line. Maybe we do.
Right.
Or maybe we don't. Long story short, because maybe Tyler Biadasz looks better when he got a strong guard on both sides. What do we do? Do we cut Collins? Because I don't think that's off the table.
Let me see his contract because I don't want to say something and be like, so we both know. Let me see his contract. Because, like, for me, I think that could be in the realm if the numbers.
I think he's cuttable, period. I think they're not happy with him.
Colin, okay, so he has gotten into the potential out territory of his contract.
Think about this. He was one of the rare knuckleheads on his team, like off the field knucklehead.
So I'm looking at it here. If you cut him post or trade him, either way, you're looking at a $10 million savings, but you have the dead cap in effect. So you could save $5 million, but then you have an $8 million cap hit in 2023. But again, we don't know what the money's going to look like in those later years, so we might not even have to deal with that.
Would trade him. My point is this. If you take Green and put him at guard, you're not keeping Steele on the bench, and you're not going to bench Collins and not have no type of compensation.
No, I got you.
But look, that's like this: as knucklehead as he is, and his contract isn't that astronomical, and somebody would take Lyle Collins off our hands in a heartbeat. There's teams that don't. That you think you think Cincinnati won't take Collins today?
Oh no, I think look, what I think the biggest thing is, right, and the reason I bring up these tackle names is because when I do the mock drafts, and the reason I archive these over a weekly basis is because it shows you where prospects are moving. We haven't gotten to the Senior Bowl yet. We haven't seen any movement with some of these guys.
Fluctuations,
right? So Kenyon Green in a lot of my mock drafts isn't even there. Like he's going in the mid, teens, and I'm like, well, shit. So now we got to think of other names, and so that's where these guys that I mentioned.
Linderbaum getting to you?
Huh?
Is Linderbaum getting to you in your mocks?
No, he's going to Philadelphia. He's going to Philadelphia in the mocks.
He's about to retire.
Right, and so because the way I look at it,
it's like I said last year. When you do your research properly, you can't. We've been going BPA, and it's been working out. It's been working out like crazy. I'm telling you, the wrench I was going to throw in your wheelhouse. We're talking linemen. We're talking foundational pieces. You know Dallas will take a receiver at 24, right?
I don't have a problem with that. And people are going to think I'm crazy for saying that.
You'll take the dude from Alabama.
Well, Michi?
The guy that tore his ACL.
Oh yeah. So for me, again,
I can see it.
Yeah. No, but here's my thing though. The reason I don't have these problems is because it comes down to how you construct the team, right? And that's where I could say I'm cool with that now, but if the Cowboys are like, well, we're going this way, then I'm like, hold up. But again, because
I'm just saying, if Dean's gone, Linderbaum's gone, Kenyon Green's gone, because everybody's trying to keep us from getting certain foundational pieces. It's like last year when I was like, we can't really lose. Slater or Parsons or someone's going to be there.
You're going to have someone there.
And as much as people want to say, no quarterbacks is going, at least 2 will go before 24. You know what I'm saying? At least. I think Pickett and that Willis guy, I think 2 will go because teams will just take a shot. Somebody like Washington will take a shot on the quarterback. So my point is, we're going to get a great player at 24. They can't, as much as Philly wants to, because they got 3 picks. You can't take all of the linebackers. You can't take all of the centers. You can't keep the Cowboys from getting talent.
I do have. I want to ask you this question because I know I've talked about it. I know Amari Cooper's been in question marks. What are they going to do with him? There has been there's no proposal, but there has been some okay, he could be traded to get a first-round pick or a second-round pick. For me, the only way I'm getting, and for me, I wouldn't want to let go of Cooper because because I don't think you have that proper contingency plan in place. Like, I get it, you got CeeDee Lamb, I get it, but you have 4 guys leaving. And so I don't see you doing that right now. But again, and as
who they gonna move off of? DeMarcus Lawrence.
You really think so?
They're gonna move off D-Law and they're gonna pay Gregory.
Hey, like,
and they're not gonna have to pay Gregory $20 million. They're gonna say, "Look, Gregory,
listen,
you had
man,
6 sacks.
We like our guys. Don't take too much money."
And he's gonna look, and Gregory's gonna take like $12 million, which I know sounds crazy, but he's worth it. He's probably worth like 15, but he's gonna take a hometown because he's gonna want to stay in the good graces of the Joneses, and then D-Law, that 20, he gone, bro. I don't think that him and Cooper's gone. It's gonna be between him and Coop. One gotta go.
Let me see. I'm looking at his deal now. Yeah, so if you were to actually, again, but if you were to cut D-Law,
I think it's post June 1st for D-Law.
Post June 1st, you're saving $11 million.
That's when he would go.
And that's where
latch on to somebody and be amazingly great. But
again, but like to kind of circle this thing back around, Brian Anger's a free agent too. I want to bring him back.
No, we can't let him go. I like him.
Jacob, you got your long snapper McQuaid. He didn't give me any issues, so he can come back.
Solid. He's not going to work.
I think the biggest thing for me as I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now, looking at these options. Dalton Schultz, he's most likely gone, but this is where Sean McHugh comes into play. I know that. Listen, I've heard the stuff about Jarwin, and that's true. Huh?
We're not gonna pay Schultz. We already paid.
No, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that because ultimately I have confidence in this team. Like if the Cowboys really wanted to, they can go any way, shape, and form. Like if they want a tight end early, well, not first pick, but like if they wanted a tight end in the 3rd or 4th round, I'm cool with it. Because again, tight end is a sort of need because we don't know about McEwen. He's shown glimpses, I think that
he can catch. I just
I really like
about his blocking. He can catch. I've seen him do some things, so I don't have no problem with his hands. I'm just worried about his blocking.
Right, and also
but then again, like it ain't like Schultz is out there mauling people.
To me, and I'm looking at these names and kind of circle back around. The biggest names that I see. So you have Gallup, which we know he's gone.
If Coop, look, this is the thing. He's not gone. If we get rid of Coop, Gallup back. It's weird like that. But we're not going to have both.
So I see Gallup. I'm going to throw Cedric Wilson in there because he was a key cog. You got Dalton Schultz, Connor Williams. Let me go through here. Randy Gregory.
Watch the emergence of Simeon this year. Watch them force. He going to see all kinds of Simeon training camp. Watch.
And Joe Rod brings it up. It's the durability thing. So let's see. Jaron Kearse, obviously your punter. So you got a handful of guys, but I think that the rest of these guys, like LVE, you got a solid guy.
They're gonna bring him back.
I wouldn't mind that because of his new role.
In the San Fran game.
Yeah,
I got recency bias. That tackle he made in the San Fran game.
Listen, man.
Recency bias.
And I'm not sure if it's just me, but when I look at this list, I would say that yes, you have a handful of guys that you need to replace, especially on offense and some on defense. But I'm not going to sweat bullets if all of these guys, because of what we've seen in the past 2 drafts, and that's what I admire with this Mike McCarthy era, is that the Dallas Cowboys have lived up to the best player available mantra.
It works.
And it works. Think about this. Mike McCarthy, in his first 2 seasons, has already gotten, because apparently, again, however you feel about CeeDee Lamb, because of him getting, here and there, he's going to be apparently a pro. I don't care about the Pro Bowl, but point being, you got a guy that's going to.
Fine. CD just needs.
He's fine. Yeah, right. He just needs to get his. Yeah, he just needs to get his head in the game. You got him. So you got a possible franchise wide receiver as long as he can continue to get better. You got a 10 interception ball hawk that a lot of people have been looking for. You got good rotational defensive tackles. You got your center. You got a starting center.
You're going to turn into something else too.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man, that's a whole nother aspect of this. And then you go and you look at this draft: Micah Parsons, Kelvin Joseph, we'll see how that turns out. Osa Odigizua, all of these and company. There's so many picks in that draft. The fact that you got all of those guys, and you're not going to hit on every single one of them, but if you are hitting on the level that they are hitting, I have no reason to complain as of the moment.
Well, we gotta have faith in this too, Space. We gotta really just sit back and realize, like I said, it's in Will McClay I trust. Will some of the people that we brought in last year that I was skeptical of, he's shown and proved that he can find. Like, we were skeptical of everybody. Well, why are we bringing in KZ? Why we bring now Neil just was he was underwhelming. Mm-hmm. So he's not batting 100%, but he like 90. Because Curse, like I said, Watkins. Look, I go talk to me last January. I'm like, Watkins or whenever we brought him in,
and yeah,
he was pretty decent. Urban would have been. First of all, I really wish Urban was in the San Fran game because our run defense was pretty amazing until he went down. Mm-hmm. You know, I have faith that Will McClay will assess and find us some more gems in free agency and in the draft.
Right. And
we're not gonna go we're not gonna spend $100 million and nothing like that.
But we'll get started like 4 weeks in. Don't worry. We'll get started.
Yeah, we gotta wait till third week of free agency. But look, as much as we did that last year, like I said, I'm sold. He's gonna have to just have a bad draft year, knock on wood. I mean bad free agency year. Because Curse, Watkins, Urban, I'm really surprised Canada didn't play more, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, and again, like it's just, you know, I don't, and this is why I do not like the 1-year deals. I would prefer if they kind of put them into 2 or 3.
Maybe they'll change that.
You do shit like this where you have good players that are going to go get the bag elsewhere. And yeah, sure, you don't know. Like, we didn't know. And I'll be honest, I thought that J-Ron Curse was just going to be a camp body, and boy,
I thought he was special teams heavy.
I thought he really shut me up this year, and I like that. I like being proven wrong by these players.
Of course, I want to be.
Yeah,
if you're doing good, I want to make videos.
You know what's gonna be, and I want to touch on this too. You know, I know Corey Clement showed up. You know, I'm really upset that Rico Dowdle got hurt. I thought that listen, man, that guy brings so much. You know, for a third string running back, I like what he brings. And you know, I hear the mentions of the compensation picks, and that's where like I'll seriously be like, okay, so this is what we can do. And I think that, but we gotta, and I think this is important to understand that no matter what we do, I think fundamentally, coaching staff, specifically Kellen, we have to adapt. You cannot be doing this pre-snap nonsense where we know, like when, you know, again, I'm gonna advertise it like BJ Nix was doing on the Stargating podcast. Say, go watch it. You can watch every single play, see the motion, and know it's going to be a run. And you can see how Fred Warner's reacting. You can see all these guys react. If you could fix that, okay, now you caught my attention.
Space. Mm-hmm. This is why I like. I'm just like I like to be a student of human, like watching humans react to certain things.
Right.
Kellen has never had what he's going through right now. Kellen was king made. They was just like, you the best, you super smart, you a genius. And every year since he's been in his position, he's gone into the offseason and they'll say something like, I used to hear, well, it's just a matter of time before Kellen Moore becomes the head coach. Kellen's such a genius. Kellen this, that, and the other. Kellen woke up about 3 weeks ago, and for the first time ever, it was like, yo, Kellen Moore is trash. And we watched the whole fan base. The fan base is turned on him. You know,
right?
And you would say, well, it's just a fan base. I'm like, no, I've been watching national media too. He hasn't, like, he's going through something that a lot of us need to. This is natural maturation. You don't make changes when you've never had adversity.
Right.
He hasn't had to make changes. He's been called a genius for 3-4 years. And now he's hearing, yo, your schemes are stupid. Why you got tackles running curl patterns? This offseason, for the first time in a long time, Kellen Moore has to go back to the drawing board and realize maybe I'm not that nice. And I like that, because if we do got to bring him back, then I want him, just like Dak. Remember you were saying he's 6 to 12? You know, when they start doing the list in the offseason.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that when the list come out, I hope they put Dak 12th.
Put him as low as you can.
No, I'm tired of the coddling. It's not that I don't believe
that. And I'm glad you brought that up because I want to.
I'm a homer. I love the dude. I still think Dak is the 6th best quarterback in the league or something. But I'm talking about nationally. I want the whole team outside of Micah. Everybody know Micah good. He's not getting no scrutiny. But everybody else needs to get scrutiny. Like I like them. I want them to keep saying Diggs is overrated. I want us to come into the next season with a real chip on our shoulder.
Right. And that's where I
don't. We come in cushy with neck pillows and we all and then you
ain't wrong. But look, I think, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is where I think we got stuck in the Romo era and age there, where complacency and comfort. We didn't, and that is the problem. That is why if I see my quarterback like Dak or Romo make a mistake, I need my goddamn coaches to point that shit out and don't be like, "Oh, you're good." I don't like that.
That's what's been happening.
That's
what's been happening. Dak
right.
make a mistake,
and then on top of that, and then on top of that, right? I think that when you look at these other players, right? Like, the offensive line, it doesn't have to be through the public. That's not what we're saying. It's like when you go to work, right? If you're effing up and your boss isn't telling you what you're effing up, you're going to continue to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so unless he pulls me aside and he's like, yo, this is what you're messing up with, or however he wants to communicate that with me, you got to get that point across. And I think that is where not only does this apply to your players, it applies to your coaches as well. Mike is an offensive guy. If you know Kellen is fucking up, you have to step in and be like, dude, listen, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Give me the goddamn playbook because you're not doing this right.
Look, and you did that last year, but guess who's going to do it this year? The person that got Sean Payton on his shoulder, like, you want me to come get the job today or tomorrow?
And I want to bring this comment up because this is the GOAT shit. And this is a huge point. And this is why I have a problem with the Cowboys culture. This country club culture is more concerned. And I'll take, and by the way, if you guys have any questions, drop them now. We'll take the last 8 minutes to answer your questions. So, with going back to that, you have a guy that's been with Dak his entire career. He's been on the field with him as a backup, with the headset.
That's the problem right there. You said it.
And
you were my backup.
And well, not only that, you have a friendship there, and
I was your backup, but.
but that's the thing is that I think when we look at that dynamic, even if there's goodwill between the two of them, I don't think Kellen would go out and be like, listen, Derek, you're really shitty at doing this. Not saying he has to say it like that. That is another problem with that. When you're best friends,
look, you can.
But that's what he needs.
Right. You can be critical of a player you like. See, this is the thing. This is why I can't have conversations with Dak haters. Because I can come out and say, I want Dak to be coached hard. I want him to be talked to about bad throws and stuff like that. But I say that with the knowledge and with the I've seen him make great throws. I've seen him play well. I've seen him make comebacks. I've seen him win big games. I know that to get better, you must push yourself. But
exactly.
See, if you're talking to a Dak hater, you can say, man, Dak, that was a bad throw. And then they'll get all giddy and be like, yeah, let's cut him. And I'm like, see, no, like we're not on the same page. Like I get mad at a bad throw, you want to throw him in the trash.
When I get mad at a bad throw, I'm like, listen, could you fix that in practice? I understand you're not going to.
I would love to watch him get barked on. I would love to watch Mike McCarthy get in his face because, first of all, I feel like he can handle it. But
he wants that. He wants that.
You have to. But that's with anything in life. Space is like what you said. If you're performing bad at your day job or at anything, you need someone that, even if it's not yelling, just, hey man, you got to get better. But if no one will tell you that you're not doing well, you will keep doing the same stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's that simple.
And it's not even just with him. I think this again goes to every player. If you're in the meeting room as Mike McCarthy and you're watching the film and you're like, what the fuck is Kellen doing here? And then you call him in and you're like, Kellen, what is this? Like, you got to stop doing this. We have to be better. Like, you got to have that conversation. And then the next thing, and then if you want to bring up the QB draw, here, I'll bring it up here. People were saying, Dak called the play. Okay, so listen, I don't have a problem with the QB draw. I think I said it. Like, I said something like, I don't have a problem with the play call. I just had a problem with what the hell happened. Because either way, I feel like that was a better option than just throwing bombs to the end zone and it getting intercepted and then us bitching about, wow, well, we couldn't get closer. But again, the play kind of dictated that. And again, the reason I go –
oh, go ahead. My fault.
The reason I say that is because if that was a play he checked out of, number one, why, then it's kind of like now you have the question, not only his part, but not saying it's his fault, but primarily like the overall operation. Like, and I have my things with the officiating and how they handled that because the rule book says it has to be touched by an official, not an umpire. It says it in the rule book. So I had my discrepancies there.
Look, we could start a whole show on how to.
But listen,
I'll say this, Space. Dak, Kellen, Mike McCarthy, the entire offense. Don't focus on the last play. Focus on the previous series.
Exactly.
The game.
Thank you.
If you want to focus on something, you had 3 timeouts. You had 2 minutes. That's where you should. This whole offseason. You can focus on the whole game because we entirely didn't show up the whole game. You could go first quarter, second quarter. But I'm just saying, if you want to say, okay, did we have a shot? We did. We had a shot. And we didn't get it done. That drive that failed out when we had our timeouts and stuff, that's the ball game if you want to focus on the segment.
Right.
It ain't the last series was wonky. It ain't go right. Why you running a QB draw?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You get mad at that. But if you really want to get mad at something, if you that guy Dak, and watch the Cowboy head, it's like, yeah, say it. If you that guy Dak, Kellen, if you're as amazing a coordinator as you are, and Mike McCarthy, if you're as good as a coach as you probably believe yourself to be, and you get that moment, the moment that you as a kid dream of, I got 3 timeouts, I got 2 minutes, what I'm gonna do, and we fizzle out like that, that's where you say, okay, whatever we was doing ain't good enough.
Right.
I'm not throwing Dak in the trash, haters. I know y'all ain't here. I still like him. I feel like he can get it done. I've seen him win games in the last seconds. I watched the Seattle game. It exists. I know y'all don't want to believe it. But I'm just talking about recency bias. That wasn't good enough. And it should burn in their spirit. They should be mad about it.
Exactly.
He should wake up in the morning like, I had my shot and I failed. But if he's the player that I think he is, then he goes back to the drawing board and gets better.
Right.
And if he doesn't get better, then all the haters win. I don't know.
Like what? Do you want him to be like? Do you want us to suck? So you're right. Like that's a whole.
Yes.
Good Lord. Like, and again, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because we'll answer a couple questions, but Jesus Christ, like, do we really...
Yes, they want him to suck so they can be right.
Listen, if you guys want Paxton Lynch, by all means, we can get, we can do that.
Quincy Carter days, it was there.
Listen, man. Listen, we can go back there if you want to. We'll drag you back down.
And Brandon Whedon, we can get back to some days where it was rough.
Listen, when you go back in that 2015 season, oh my God, I wanted to gouge my eyes out with the season.
Now look, we got blessed with what we got out of the draft, but it hurt.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of sit there and I'm like, listen, I get it. I think for us as fans, whether what side of the spectrum you're on, and as the coaches, like the Say What You Like said, you have to understand the situation. If you know what your quarterback can and can't do, you have to tailor the offense to his strengths. That's every single team in the NFL. And that's no excuses to the quarterback. That's no excuse to Aaron Rodgers. That's no excuse. It's about making your team self-aware.
As good as Patrick Mahomes is, I watched him throw a pass laying out lateral. He was like planking midair. He can do things that no one else can do. And you know what they've done? They said, "Oh, you're gonna play 2 high safeties in a shell? We're gonna go underneath." Even the greatest quarterback that I've seen talent-wise probably ever, even above Aaron Rodgers, when they play a certain defense, they take what the defense is giving them.
Right, exactly.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't say, "I'm throwing deep into the 2 deep safeties because I'm that dude." He's just
listen, Josh Allen, you just throw that shit.
Yeah, well, Josh Allen has a cannon. But even Josh Allen has days where, like versus Atlanta, where it's just like, what was that?
Versus Jacksonville.
So my point
Dak
is,
has his moments too.
if you don't go into games with a point of view and a clear strategy, you can lose any week to anyone.
Exactly.
So even the Colts got out of their bag and was doing something weird and didn't go to the playoffs because they had a point of view for weeks. We running this thing through Taylor. And then for some odd reason, they go to Jacksonville like, we about to get us to Carson. And they ended up going home. So my point is, when you don't, and this is for lack of better wording space,
right?
Identity on offense.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Identity on offense.
Right.
We want to be a mishmash. Like sometimes
we want to do everything. Like,
and it's like
what the fuck?
That's cool versus the Giants. But when you play in a team that's buttoned up, I hate to sound like Colin Cowherd, but a team that got it together, all that mishmash stuff is like, because the 49ers like, look, this is what we do. I don't know what y'all doing.
Yo, and they came with the fucking boom box and shit, and like they knew we're coming in, and
look, I hate that, but that was dope.
Yo, I was like, you know what's funny? When I saw that, I was like, oh shit, I got a real
feeling. If you watch our opening game, if you watch our pregame, and it's not about dancing and everything like that. It's just if you watch the demeanor, the way they looked so comfortable on the walkout, it wasn't that they were playing music. They could have been playing country music. I'm just talking about how they looked when you watched it, and not their facial expression, just their body language. They look so relaxed, like we about to go handle business. Like it was so comfortable.
It was just like,
and we looked tight. That's that nervousness. It wasn't that I think we were scared. It's just we were tight. Like we had a mentality of we can't mess up, and they had a mentality of we're about to beat you down. You can't have a mentality of you can't mess up because you will. But that falls on Mike though.
So we'll take this question because getting late on the East Coast, but it's okay. I'm enjoying this every minute, but I want to be mindful of Rome's time because I know that
we're gonna get back in here space at a reasonable time.
Oh, absolutely. But and also my goddamn my program's working. Anyways, got this interesting question here. It seems to be a lot of blame going around for the losses. Who do you guys think are responsible for the wins? That is a fantastic question.
It's a great question.
Because I have seen a lot of blame for the negative stuff always outweighs positive stuff because that's how we are as human beings. It's a team thing. Every game has a reason why that team won. For example, you can look at the Chargers game. You could be like, well, Dak got them into view, into that range, and Zerline hit the game-winning kick. So he won you the game. And you could look at the defense, too. Like, there are multiple layers that go into why a team won and lost. You can look at each game independently. Now, you can look at...
It's like you said, it's both, though.
It is both. And so I think that, those guys are responsible for your wins as they are your losses. And, that's why I don't believe anymore that wins are a quarterback stat. I had to change my mind on that because when you look at how things are going, especially as we're starting to get into the new age of quarterback, you can kind of see, look, it's a team game. It doesn't matter. I mean, and the prime example. Go ahead.
So the wins is a quarterback stat? It's things like this. It's things like you watched the Chiefs game. Everybody did.
Oh my God, that was the best.
Patrick Mahomes hit Tyreek Hill on the pass, maybe 20 yards, maybe 15 to 20 yards, and I watched him outrun everybody. Right, and when you look at the stat sheet, that goes down as like a 70-yard pass for Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
But my point is, and it's not that Patrick isn't incredible. We've already covered that. My point is, even in those moments, people forget about what the receiver just did.
Right.
And it's just like you look at the end game results. Patrick threw for this and that, and Patrick this and Patrick that. And I'm sure Tyreek Hill is like, at least 2 of those passes, I just out-athleted everybody on the field. If I'm a regular receiver, you complete the pass, Patrick, but I get tackled and we lose. If he just run everybody on one play,
or he gets sacked or some shit.
That's
it's
my
like
point. And does that make Patrick less good? No.
No, it doesn't.
His team, just to your point, his team showed up.
And you know what's crazy? So did, think about it in this light too. If they had 13 seconds, you're thinking, okay, there's no way in fucking hell they're gonna do that. And they did it. And it's because, you look at the Buffalo defense shouldn't have been playing that prevent crap, but you could have. If you take away that, let's just say that was the last play, Josh Allen scored the touchdown, they win the game. People would be like, hey, your defense didn't do it. And I feel bad because it's I feel like neither team should have lost that. But to kind of finalize my answer on this question, I know I've been going on, but it's a good explanation. But for those for those reasons you win are the same reasons that you're probably going to lose. It's because your quarterback didn't play well or played well. Your entire offensive line blocked well or didn't. Your defense played well or didn't. Or coaching. I have seen
it's to your point. It's just it's great players show up in great moments.
Exactly.
And when you're a quarterback to have great players with you, you reap the benefits. Bring the Chiefs back up. You watched the Chiefs-Chargers game that happened in the regular season.
Yeah.
I saw Travis Kelce break a run that's like, whoa, to win the game in overtime. And it's just like it's just like with the Tyreek Hill thing. Yes, Mahomes put the ball right where it needed to be. But then their athletes, the confidence that the Chiefs have, they take over. And it's not just the Chiefs. I watched in the Rams games. I watched the confidence. The confidence that's instilled from the coach, it's a domino effect. But to her point, who's responsible for the wins? They all are. Just like in the losses, they all are responsible.
Exactly.
We lost to San Fran because as a team, not just the refs did it, they helped. The refs helped. I'm not even going to absolve them.
No.
And it ain't even the call. It's not the calls that the refs made. It's the calls they refused to make, like the Trent Williams stuff. My point is, even with the ref stuff, we didn't show up as a team. Our defense settled in, but when the game first started, even they didn't show up.
Right.
Our offense started slow, as usual, because we don't got a point of view, and we're arrogant, and we're like, we're gonna run off, or we're gonna run behind Biadasz and Connor Williams. That's not gonna work. Stop doing that.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I hope that all of our arrogance is flushed down the toilet.
Right.
I hope that we realize that, okay, we have Tony Pollard. We should probably use him. The audacity of us to say we have something that good and just be like, that's like saying, I got Devontae Adams.
I'm good.
I'm going to Van Der Scatling or whatever. Why? Because I'm smarter than everybody in the room. No. Just like Mike Williams, or what's the OC for the Niners?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels. What he said? He said, I'm not that good, y'all. I just give the ball to my playmakers. I get it to Debo, I get it to Kittle, and they make me look like a genius.
That's all you got to do.
You know what I'm saying? If you just got I'm going to hand it to CD. That doesn't work. But we won't do that. We'll be like, we're going to run the same routes, and if they don't work, we'll just down our sword. And I hope that we've gotten that out of our system, because if we hadn't, Space, the definition of insanity, if we come back this year doing the same stuff, me and you next January going to be having the same conversation.
Yeah, or rather, I'm going to be more upset, or rather, we're going to be looking at Sean Payton as the coach, because Mike McCarthy will be.
He'll be sitting next to us. He'll be live. He's going to be on StreamYard with us.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Big Mike. But look, we've seen a lot in the playoffs, the exact reasons why you win and lose games. And, look, Dak had his worst playoff game, but when you look at that, sure, he's 1-3 in the playoffs, but, you look at his games, he played very well in his other games.
As much as people hate Dak, ask them how many losing seasons he's had when he plays the whole season. Dak's worst season when he started to finish is 8-8. He's never finished with a losing record. People don't want to bring that up though.
Yeah, I mean,
he finished with a losing record when he broke his ankle, but it's kind of hard to play in a wheelchair. So yeah.
Also, on top of that, you don't know how that season could have panned out. But I think we have gone over everything pretty much. I know there was a lot to unpack because there's so much that we had to talk about what happened during the season, what's going on, what are we looking at. But now that we kind of got that out of the way, now it's full steam ahead to free agency. Mike McCarthy appears to have gotten his vote of confidence from the ownership, yet not directly. But now is the time to do the mock drafts, get free agency ready, and I'm ready for that. We got to get this team.
Before we go.
Go ahead.
Put logic and this guy might not be on the board out the window.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been doing some mocks. I ain't got into it, but let me ask you. I'll just go 2 rounds. If you can get your, and I couldn't even probably give you your first and second round. If it falls our way, let's not talk about the factors of the Eagles being haters or whatever. Who would you love to get?
Tyler Linderbaum. He would be the perfect addition to this team because you get a blue chip prospect at center, a young one at that, and you can finally relax and not have to worry about center. I hate having question marks on my offensive line. If my offensive line ain't good, my team ain't good. Plain and simple. Tyler Linderbaum is my dream pick for the Cowboys. And if it takes a second round pick to get him, okay. Or I'll throw another name out there for you. If we have to go get, if Evan Neal is slipping, who I think is the best right now, is the best tackle prospect in the draft, I'm willing to go get that guy. I'm willing to do what it has to take to get this team upright. But again, I want to see how these draft boards fall because for all we know, Linderbaum might drop.
Well, this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I want to shore up this offensive line. Right. I do. I have faith. I have complete we can bring back every player on the defense, and I just feel like we'll be better because I got faith in Dan Quinn. That's our biggest off-season move defensively. Bringing Quinn back. Right. Mm-hmm. We'll have player additions and draft. We'll get some more to add to his mix, but I got faith in Quinn. I actually have faith in our offense, but we do need to shore up the offensive line. So I think Linderbaum will be my favorite pick too. And this is, like I said, this is acting like everything breaks our way. I just want to leave everybody with this, man. The last 2 drafts, people have failed to us that I wouldn't have said should have fallen to us, if that makes sense.
Right, no, I know what you mean.
It's one of those things where I know everybody, you get in your head that this can't happen, and it's just impossible. But if there's a possibility for CD Lamb to fall to us at a point in a draft, anything's possible. And you got to start really just. It's not that Linderbaum isn't a great center. Outside of Philly, I don't know too many people that are gonna. It's the value of the pick.
Right.
I don't think people look like, yo, we going center first round. Shut up. No, we're not.
But a lot of these teams, again, we'll see how the draft board's moving up. You're going to have teams that are going to try and come for quarterbacks.
That's my thing. You're going to have quarterbacks. You're going to have this might not be a quarterback draft, but there's a lot of other good style positions.
Right.
And people are not going to there's the way receivers been going. There's going to be 3 or 4 receivers that go.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a couple of tackles that go because centers aren't taking over tackles. There's going to be some guards that go. Centers aren't taking over guards, right? There's going to be defensive ends that go. And now because of Micah Parsons, there's going to be some linebackers that go. Yeah, I feel like Linderbaum will be right there. Because as much as the Eagles want to say, we're going to take Linderbaum, y'all got defensive holes all over the place. Y'all need D ends, y'all need linebackers, and they need corners.
And you look at these.
You know what might fall right now? Stingley. You think the Eagles going to pass up Stingley?
No.
You see what I'm saying? So Linderbaum, more than likely he's going to be right there for us, and it's going to be up to us to be responsible enough, because I do think that's a mixture between need and BPA.
And when you look at the previous draft, and I know that's not an indication of the particular players in this one, the first center went at pick 37. So
point.
Again, and I agree. So he could be there, but again,
where did Creed go?
Creed? Humphrey? He went where'd he go? I just saw him. Where is he at? There he is. He went 63.
And he's the best, like, he's a beast.
I wanted him. I was like, yo, I would love to have Creed Humphrey here, but nope.
But again, I think second round is where most centers go. And I do feel like it's a mix between BPA and need for us. Like, I do feel like if Linderbaum's there at 24,
I think you have to take it because he's not going to be there.
What if Linderbaum and the tackle's there? I guess you win either way, but you're like.
So it depends on which tackle's there. That's the thing. And that's where I'm going to have this. Because Linderbaum, like, people will be like, why are we getting another center? Why do we need another center? Because the interior of your offensive line is terrible right now.
And everybody attacks it. They don't, like, we deal with people like, well, we got great tackles so we can handle edge rushers. What I watch people do, and I ain't trying to spark a new conversation, I'm just saying, what I watch people do is this. I watch people stunt to the middle. I watch Bosa he doesn't run around the edge. I'm going to just swerve right into where Biadasz is, and it's over.
Right.
They just run stunts into the middle, and we can't stop it because it's just like Connor Williams and Connor will stop someone with his hands. I'm going,
right. just feel like,
because look, I ain't gonna lie, like, sometimes when they do the replay, we've had egregious calls all year, but some of those calls are like, nah, Connor was holding. They called him.
But look, man, we gotta get rolling. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Rome, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this.
Had a good time, man. We gotta do this again at a more reasonable time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if work, But look, we'll definitely get something squared away earlier. Number one, but number two, we got to link up. We'll probably do this once kind of more stuff is pointing in the direction of, okay, this is what we're looking to do. But listen, man,
we'll wake up tomorrow and they'll say, "Psych, Sean Payton is our new coach."
Then we'll be like, "Well, goddamn, we should have waited."
You know how the Cowboys do. Whenever you think you know what's going on.
But yeah, for the 34 people still watching, thank you so much for keeping watching. Again, it's late. I'm tired. but look, I definitely thank you guys so much for staying with us for the near whole 2 hours because this was fun. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I already gave you the whole deal. 10K. I eat 2 of the world's hottest chips. I'm probably gonna put that in one of my videos. So. And then I'm gonna be looking. I'll be like, oh shit! And then I'm gonna have to do it live, and then I'm gonna it's gonna be fun. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to step out, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Rome, before we go, actually, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you at.
Hey, Cowboys Fan Talk on YouTube, Cowboys_Fan Talk on Twitter. Just to let you know, on Twitter, I'll say I bite back, so I have no problem with getting into arguments. I don't care if you got three followers. I will argue with you on Twitter. I have no filter, so if you come at me on Twitter, just be ready to get an argument.
Alrighty, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.